Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? I'm Nev from Nev's Tech, but also known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. I've worn masks to protest. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. Now, what I want to talk about is basically it's finally happened. Hackers unleashed torrent of Norwegian dam, releasing 132 gallons per second for 2 hours. Norway links dam sabotage to pro-Russian hackers, and maybe they are Russian, maybe they're North Korean. Maybe it's just some kid in their parents' basement. And one reason I got to say that is a lot of the times when they're trying to figure out exactly where these hack attacks came from, they kind of take it back to what kind of keyboard they're using. And North Korean hackers really like using Russian hackers and like using Russian settings, basically. Now, there's all kinds of infrastructure across the USA, maybe even Canada, all over the world that's being controlled by really old, maybe really bad types of technology. In a nutshell, Norwegian authorities have officially attributed a recent cyber attack on a dam in Bremanger, Norway, to Russia, raising concerns over sabotage targeting critical infrastructure across Europe. The incident marks the first time Oslo has formally linked such an attack to pro-Russian hackers. In April, hackers remotely accessed the dam's digital records, which manage fish farming operations, and opened a valve. Reuters notes that these attacks released 132 gallons of water per second for continuous hours before authorities detected and stopped the breach. Well, authorities reported no injuries. That's what I was worried about. Flash floods can do a lot of damage, and we've seen that firsthand in the U.S. recently. In Texas, it's amazing what a flash flood can do. Intelligence agencies say that the operation was part of a broader campaign aimed at intimidating and unsettling the general population. Our Russian neighbors has become more dangerous. You know, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if this was actually just a thing where the people running the show screwed up and they decided that they blame the Russians or something like that. I wouldn't even be too surprised if this was some script kiddie hanging out in his basement just messing around with stuff. Like I say again, there is a lot of infrastructure. There are a lot of companies that have really old IT that a hacker who wanted to do something could get around very easily. But for the most part, hackers don't do this stuff because they don't see ways of making money. When I talk to some of the most talented computer people that I know and ask about stuff like this, most of them they tell me flat out, they're doing it for the money. They'll do it for the money. Not much else than that. Nobody wants to get in shit for stuff that's not going to make the money, that's not going to get them ahead, or that's not going to boost their credibility, their name, or something like that. You get a lot of hackers out there doing things, but if they take responsibility for it, that can also get them in a lot of trouble. One thing hackers aren't supposed to do these days are talk to each other about things, about what they've done, because hackers get really butthurt, and they're very vengeful. No honor amongst thieves. And there's been several times when hackers have touted what they've done and other hackers straight up just flat out turn them into the police. It happens. It happens quite a bit. I think there was one guy. Was it Snowden? No. I forget now exactly who it was, but I've heard several stories of people being turned in because they were in different places and they were touting about what they did exactly, and they weren't following Batcave rules, which is really, really shitty. What is a man? Miserable little pile of secrets. Man, I remember hearing that on Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and it really stuck with me. You got to keep things secret. You really got to keep things secret. It's just like with Wicca, witchcraft. If you do some spells, if you do some crazy stuff, you keep it secret. If you don't keep it secret, then it's not going to work. And if you speak of the devil will appear. Also, you're not supposed to talk about things that you don't want to happen. I don't know. There's just something within all of this stuff combined. On Reddit, we got folks wondering why this stuff is connected to the internet. Well, everything's connected to the internet. The Internet of Things. Not pro-Russian. Russian military. Apparently. Let's see what X has to say about this. Pro-Russia activists engaging in targeting of Operation Technology. Numbered Shadowstorm activist group on their operations. Not Sandworm. Sandworm. Legit, I'm really surprised we don't see more of this stuff happening. And I think we're going to see more of it in the future. Anyways, check out the link in the description. And you can see more. Check it out for yourself. That's it for me. Next from that Stack Bets. Have a good one, folks. Take care of each other.